guys, welcome back to another Pick a Card reading. I'm so excited for today's topic. It's one I've actually had in mind for such a long time, so I'm so happy that we're finally sitting down and getting to it. It's going to be on what does the cannabis spirit want to tell you? I feel today with the popular use of cannabis, whether it be for recreational purposes or whether it be for healing purposes, medicinal reasons. It can be used for all sorts of things like anxiety, problems sleeping, appetite, pain management, and so much more. It's something that's widely used in our world today, and I feel that oftentimes she doesn't get the proper respect and acknowledgement that she deserves. So just a little reminder for those of you who utilize this plant to remember that she is conscious, she is awareness, she is constantly there, ready to support us in all of these different ways that she can, to hold us, can provide a lot of meaningful insight and downloads. It's just such a beautiful plant when used with intention and care. So I think it's appropriate for us to take some time to remember to acknowledge her, to appreciate her presence in our lives, her support, her healing, and to just, show our thanks, be grateful, honor this medicine. So I'm so happy today to give that cannabis spirit a voice, to use me as an instrument today to help communicate whatever, messages want to come through, whatever this cannabis spirit wants to tell you. We're opening up a pathway to let it come through today. So also feel free when you're giving your thanks, showing your appreciation, just acknowledging the plant, the spirit that is here, giving you a helping hand, supporting you in your times of need, or just helping you relax, to have a good time and enjoy amongst friends. Make sure that you incorporate whatever else you feel called to do, whatever you feel inclined to do naturally. Always listen to yourself, and this is how you can kind of create your own little rituals, your own way of showing your respects and giving thanks and honoring the cannabis spirit, whether it's just a small little dedication, a small little prayer before each use, or whether, it's something else that you feel called to do. Listen to your intuition and just follow what feels the best for you to do to honor her. Okay, so we have 3 selections here. I chose these 3 little crystals. They are small, so I will hold them up to the camera. So if you are going to pick the first group, we have the Larimar, this Larimar stone. For the second group, we have this Lepidolite. This is for the second group. And for the third group, we have this Fluorite here. Okay. So for the first group, we have Larimar. For the second group, we have Lepidolite. And for the third group, we have Fluorite. So take a deep breath. Do whatever you need to do to connect to spirit. You can close your eyes, and when you open them, choose the stone that is pulling you in the most. This will probably be the selection that has a message for you. Feel free to check multiple groups out if you are feeling called to more than one. It just means that you probably have messages that could be useful to you in both groups. If you need more time, please feel free to pause the video, and I'll see you at your reading. Hey guys, welcome to your reading. If you chose the Larimar or group number 1, we are going to look into what the cannabis spirit wants to say to you. I forgot to mention in the intro that you don't have to be a cannabis user to watch this reading. But if you are, it could be especially helpful for you. So let's get right into it. I'm super excited to see the messages that are going to be coming through. Let's see, what does the cannabis spirit want to say to you? Okay, I'm kind of getting messages already, but let me try to position this better so you guys can see as much of the cards as possible. Okay, so what does the cannabis spirit have to say to you? There's a way of being here that you have adapted to, something that I feel is well developed within you. It's just become like a way that you are, that you've fallen back on, like a pattern that you have, or a way of perceiving, or just a way of doing things, actually, is mostly what I'm getting. It's like some kind of action, it's something that you do, some kind of action that you make, that you fall back on, that you've been enacting for a really long time. And I see that it's brought you some kind of success, some kind of material gain here, being this way, responding in the ways that you've learned to respond. But there's something about it now that is kind of not working out for you, because I feel like maybe you've gotten yourself to a place where you've been able to cultivate something for yourself in a material way. You've been able to accumulate something for yourself, build something up for yourself, through your own hard work and effort. But I'm seeing that either the environment that you're in, or something just internally within you doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. Something feels like a fight, like resistance, like you have to defend yourself. You're not just like at peace, There's some kind of like a tension, a turmoil. And I feel that it's draining your energy. It's causing some kind of lack in your material world. So maybe this could be manifesting through your health. Maybe you're kind of suffering not the best health, or your finances could be getting affected somehow here because of this turmoil, this tension that is present, whether around you in your environment, whether you're just not getting along with certain people, or you feel like you're in an environment where there's always kind of like tension or chaos or arguing, but something here just is not working for you, even if on the outside it appears to be working for you. For example, you're saying like, well, being at this job or doing this thing is giving me something in return. Like, look, I'm able to provide for myself in a sense, or it makes you feel very like self-sufficient, or, it's helping you to pay the bills, or it's helping you to like get by in some way, or to provide something for yourself, even if it's like a gym membership, anything. It's like, hey, like this, what I'm doing here, it's helping me to maintain something, it's like you're able to maintain a certain type of lifestyle, or a certain habits. And so from the outside, it appears to be something that's working for you, but the environment or something about the way that it's making you feel inside is not working for you. Like, I feel like you are being energetically drained, and I feel that it is manifesting materially in some way. Whether, like I mentioned, it's like in health, like maybe, you're not the healthiest right now, or whether it is in like some decrease in, finances, or some kinds of lack where you really kind of have to weigh it out. Like, you have to weigh out the pros and the cons, because there are both here. You have to see, like, do the ends justify the means? Like, sure, you can provide something, or you feel resourceful, which is something that we all, should strive to be able to do. Like, the fact that you're able to show up, to commit, to put in effort, to be independent. Like, I'm hearing that Destiny's Child song. It's so old. It's like, the shoes on my feet, I bought it. The clothes I'm wearing, I bought it. 'Cause I depends on me if I want it. You know, like I feel like you do have that energy. And there's nothing wrong with that energy. Like I said, I think it's something that we should all strive, you know, to be able to do. Of course, being self-sufficient and being self-efficient and being able to provide for ourselves and being independent and working for what we have. Those are great qualities. But I want you to know that just because you found something that can provide these things for you on a material level doesn't mean that you have to like ignore how it's making you feel inside, or ignore the environment, ignore the people that are around you, or the things that you have to endure or put yourself through. Because I think there's something here that just is not, it's just not working for you. And it's causing you confusion, because I feel like on some level it is working for you. You know what I'm saying? And on the level that it's not working for you, it's on an internal level. Whether it be like a drain to your energy, or whether it just be emotionally not doing it for you. I feel like it could also feel very confusing. It's like you just don't feel good and you don't know why. You know, you're just like, I don't know, like I have low energy, or, you know, you notice like your skin is starting to break out, or it's starting to look very dull, or like you notice, you know, that maybe you feel very achy, or like your hair is like falling out or something like you're noticing something here, and you don't, you know, you can't quite put your finger like on what the cause is, or what is it that you're experiencing. Maybe you have like these mystery symptoms here that you're trying to understand, like what is this, like what's happening, you know? And it is being caused by something internal, by like an imbalance that you have, that maybe you haven't quite pinpointed yet. It's so possible that you just don't feel good and you don't know why, and you haven't really pinpointed it yet. And like what the cannabis spirit is trying to tell you is to take time to walk away from something that feels very solid, stable, from something that has been providing something to you. You need to kind of take a break, like take some time off, use your vacation days, or, you know, just move away from something that seems to be working, something that from the outside looking in looks perfectly fine, in place, like it's running smoothly, it's working smoothly, but you need to walk away, because I feel like you need to get an elevated perspective. In order for you to be able to get that elevated perspective, you need to like move away from it, you know? Give yourself time to like reflect, to piece things together, you know, to pick up on certain patterns. Like, well, ever since I started doing this, this has been the result. Or every single time I step into the office, like I feel this, you know, I feel drained. Or when I'm done with work, when I'm done with my work day, I don't feel good. You know, like that, you can pinpoint what the problem is, so you can try to like identify how it is that you can support yourself, how it is that you can help yourself here. But there's no way that you're going to do that if you just stay in the state that you're in. Like keep doing what you're doing and just allow this discomfort, or like this inner uneasiness that's present here, to just continue. You want to like try to figure this out, like really take time to figure out like what is imbalanced here, like what is it that you need to take a look at, what is it that you need to address. Because I'm feeling like you don't have the answers. Like right now, everything is still very murky, very confusing, very like tangled up. Like there's something here that you need to unearth, something here that you need to kind of like work through, something here that you don't quite understand fully yet, you know? But I think you're eventually going to get to that point where you have like the bigger picture understanding. You're going to be able to piece things together and make sense out of things, and kind of like shine a light on some kind of like an issue, or some kind of a problem, something you're facing here that isn't really allowing you to be at ease or at peace inside. There's just like some kind of like dissatisfaction, like feeling of sadness, you know, maybe like you're ruminating on some like past disappointments, pains, hurts, like things that didn't work out, you haven't fully processed yet. Okay, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like that you're so focused on your material world and building up your material world. Maybe you do have a fear when it comes to like not having enough, when it comes to resources and not having enough. And like you always think that you have to like be pushing and fighting and like striving because you want to maintain yourself at this in this position that you're in now, you know, especially now with the way that the world is with inflation and everything. Like, I totally understand, you know, where this concern could be coming from, right? But it is something that you have to look at. You know, we can't blame external circumstances on what's going on inside of us. You know, we always have to look inside and address the problem where it is, which is inside. You know, of course, there are things that are influencing, that are factors in the situation. We're not like bypassing any of that, but it is your responsibility to manage this stress. So I do feel like maybe you have like a fear of not having enough, a fear of, you know, lack. And so that's why you have like this huge focus of like staying where you are. You know, I feel like you've built yourself to a position in the material world where you're able to provide for yourself. You know, you're able to get by, you have enough. But still, there's like this fear of like, but what if I take 10 steps backwards, or, you know, I end up where I came from, or I have nothing. What if I don't have enough? What am I going to do? You know, and like the stress of this, it's like eating away at you. But the fact that you feel this way, it's not a curse or anything, you know. Look at it as like a blessing in disguise, because the fact that you feel this way, that you have these feelings, these strong feelings that are able to kind of like hurt your present moment. You know what I mean? Like these feelings that you have inside, this stress, it's able to affect your everyday life, like your waking life, like your present moment. You're letting it like infiltrate and color your perspective, color your lens. You're letting it have a hold over you. And so the fact that this has a hold over you like it does, in the way that it's causing like an unhealthy pattern or loop that is creating problems for you, it's kind of like you can use it as like a signal of like, okay, I'm feeling discomfort, I'm feeling this uneasiness, I have this stress inside. There's something here that I need to address within myself. I need to help myself cope with this stress. Like, how can I get to the bottom of this stress? How can I relieve myself of this stress, instead of like ruminating and staying stuck there and only, you know, thinking about worst case scenarios and staying worried and fearful and, you know, afraid, and living in this lack mindset, in this scarcity mindset where, you know, you feel like you're at risk of not having enough. And I feel like this fear that you have is putting a cloud, you know, over your whole existence, over your whole life. Like it's dampening everything. It's like blanketing your life with this underlying discomfort, like this underlying like uneasiness. This is what the cannabis spirit wants to bring up, wants you to take a look at. Don't ignore this internal tension, you know, this agitation that you feel. Don't ignore it. Like, spirit wants you to take a look at it, to go there. Like, okay, I feel this tension inside. I feel uneasy. I don't feel good. I am afraid. I need to not avoid this, not try to turn away from it, but I need to get to the bottom of it. How do I help myself to release this? How can I ease myself? How can I feel better? So it's requiring you to have to like take a step back, you know, take a step back, take a break, recluse, you know, as soon as you can. Even if this means like just every night or whenever you can, just take a few moments to yourself and reflect. See where these fears are coming from. Where are they stemming from? What experiences have you had that now you're bringing those, you know, perceptions and beliefs into this present moment? You know, you think because you've experienced something in the past that it's possible for you to experience it again, and you stay stuck on that, and you stay fixated on that. And this is what's causing this inner turmoil, this tension. You have to be able to detach from that by knowing that every moment is a brand new moment. You don't have to bring your past with you to the present moment. You accept it as an experience, something that you lived through. But just because it's already happened, or it's happened a certain way before, doesn't mean that it needs to happen that way again. You have to like not tie yourself to this stress, you know, make it possible for you to be able to release it. And it's going to take time and continued effort to really like undo that opinion that you have, that belief that you have that's causing this reaction, you know, that's causing you to feel triggered in this way. And maybe it could even, you know, cause you to like get really defensive, be very cold and cutting with your words sometimes. And it's all stemming from this tension, this misalignment, where you feel like you have to fight. You know, I feel like you feel this need to fight, to stand up for yourself, to defend yourself, to always have like, I don't know, I'm hearing like, I always have to have the last word in, or to always win the argument, or like that's draining you. That doesn't feel good. Ask yourself, like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to keep that up? And whatever it is that you're defending, it's like not worth defending. It's something that's not doing anything for you. It's like it's not giving you anything. It's like defending something that's keeping you on a downward spiral, or like keeping you looping, keeping you kind of like in this haze and this confusion, like where you don't understand, like, why am I acting this way? Why am I behaving this way? Why am I reacting this way? Why am I always like thinking worst case scenarios? Why am I always sad? Or why am I always so uptight or upset or easily triggered, like so ready, you know, to fight, to argue, to debate? These are things that, you know, you have to really look internally and work on, you know. So the cannabis spirit is telling you that there are things that you need to look at, pay attention to the things that make you feel uncomfortable, that make you feel uneasy, that make you feel irritated, angry, that make you feel less than, that make you feel like you don't have enough, like keeps you in this lack mentality. You need to be able to take a break from like your daily grinds, like the daily grinds, whatever it is that you engage in daily. And you need to be able to just take time for yourself. Again, if like you can't go on a vacation, if that's unrealistic, just a little bit of time for yourself whenever you can get it. Because I know all of us are in different life situations. I remember, you know, when I had 3 small little babies, and people would be like, yeah, like everyone has an hour in the day, like no excuses, go work out, or like whatever it was, like work on your passion project. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, like most likely coming from someone that doesn't have kids, that has no idea what it's actually like. No, I don't agree we all have the same 24 hours in the day. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be like, yeah, take an hour to yourself every night, when I know that's just impossible in some situations, because I've been there myself. When it was like a miracle, if I could just get 15 minutes to myself, when I would get that, I would be happy. So just do what you can, work with what you can. But Spirit is asking you to like take time for yourself. You need to disconnect from like whatever it is that you do. And you need to take time for yourself. You need to be alone, because this is the time that you're going to be able to like look at these things, where these things are all going to like come together, and you're going to be able to piece it together and make sense out of it and understand where it's coming from, and get the insight and the wisdom that you need to learn how to cope with it, to first identify it, to become aware of it, because it seems so like confusing and all over the place still. So first you need to like identify it, you know, and I think it's coming from a lot of different areas here. Like I think it has to do with like just a lot of different things kind of all coming together. And like I mentioned before, like it's all tangled up. It's like emotional things, there's anger, tension, and there could be like health things, or just like this scarcity, lack mentality here as well. That's all playing a role in why you could be feeling how you're feeling. And you have to take a look at it so that you can uncover like how to cope, how to create new belief systems, to understand it differently, to work on harmful patterns. And I feel like you're going to get the insight, like the spiritual direction, by pulling away, by being with your own energy, by taking time to yourself, to dedicate time to look inside, to look within, to become aware about something that has to do with you. It's like to become aware about something about yourself, a way that you operate, a way that it's like you're on autopilot. You're not even aware of it. It's subconscious. Your patterns, the way you tick, what's driving you, what lens are you looking out from? What is coloring your vision? What wounds are active and influencing the way that you behave? It's like taking a deep dive into you and really identifying like what is the issue here, what is the problem here, and getting to the bottom of it. And I feel like it's very self-led. Like I feel like you can do this on your own. Like the cannabis spirit is telling you that you have the tools to do this on your own. All you need to do is like create that space to reflect, to look within, to shine a light, to learn yourself, to learn about yourself, to be honest, to be very discerning, to look things in the face, to be able to look things in the face, I feel like the more that you can connect to that internal compass and follow it, like you will be led to everything you need to be led to, so that you can slowly kind of like detangle this mess, and you can be led to what it is that you need to work on. Like what is it that you need to dedicate on? How are you going to be helped? I feel like it has to do with something that you make like a ritual that you show up for and dedicate yourself to every day. This is like what you're going to be led to. Like you're going to realize the solution to this problem, whatever the solution to this problem is, it's going to incorporate you needing to show up every day and do something every day and dedicate yourself to something every day. It is going to require a lot of discipline, determination, focus. But I feel like once once you shine a light on it and once you know exactly what it is that you have to do, you're going to be so excited to do it. I don't know, like you're going to take this on and you're going to do it in a way that's exciting to you. It's like you just can't wait to get better. It's like, what? Oh, this is what's going on? This is what I have to do? You got it. Like, I'm there. I'm so ready to like face this, to work through this, to overcome this. Like I just see you like being very willing and ready to take it on and being like very passionate about it and like very motivated to get the ball rolling, to do what it is that you have to do. You are going to get clear direction. You're going to receive the insight or the wisdom that you need to be able to work through this. But it is going to require you to slow down, like I said, to be with your own energy, to meditate, to really think things over, to reflect, to create like a clarity, because I feel like things are still very hazy, very confusing, and you need to kind of like cut through that so that you can, see things clearly. You're going to start to be able to see things clearly. Things are going to make a lot more sense. Working through the pain and the emotions of whatever heartbreaks you've had to go through, it's like finally being able to process that, and being able to move on from it. Not holding on to it anymore, not carrying it anymore, and not letting it influence you and be such a big part of your life still, It's like manifesting in your life still, all of this heartbreak, all of this pain, whatever it is that you've had to go through, whatever it is that you've had to endure. It's like you're carrying it all with you. And it's time for you to be able to process all of that so that you can put it down. And you're going to feel so much better, I feel like, when it comes to building things up in the material world and showing up in your life and communicating with people and working with people. It's going to help you, this work that you have to do. And I feel like whenever it's made clear to you exactly what steps you need to take and what it is that you have to do, you're going to be so ready and willing to do it, because I feel like you're just ready to like overcome, to be successful, to be victorious, to not let this define you anymore. You're ready to face it, to battle it, and to win, to win your fears, to win over your fears, to not let that win, to not let that be victorious. You want to be victorious. You want to overcome. And I love it. You have such a strong spirit. And the cannabis spirit sees this and they're reminding you of this. And I just see you being like so ready. I don't know, you just have like this warrior spirit, like where you're just like, once you know, like your eye is on the prize, nothing is getting in your way, you are focused, you are in it to win it, you are in the game. And that is such a beautiful energy, especially when you can put it towards your own healing and your own growth and self-development. It's like an unstoppable energy. It's really cool to see. So yeah, it's about time that you release the poisons that you've been holding onto, that have been holding you back and keeping you down and keeping you low. And in doing that, you're really gonna find like a really potent way to release it. I don't know, like you're gonna become like some kind of like expert or something by being able to navigate this yourself, like the knowledge that you're gonna have, that you're gonna attain through going through this process. I feel like it's gonna be very masterful. I don't know, like you're mastering something. You're getting really good at something. You could also do something with your hands, work with your hands, or your hands. Something with your hands could be very powerful here. I'm getting that like your wounds is your greatest gift. I feel like you're gonna find your greatest gift. You're gonna find something that you're gonna be really good at doing. Whatever journey this is leading you down towards, there's something here that you're going to master. Maybe you're going to unlock like some new level of your brain, like how you speak, how you communicate. Like you're just going to become super intelligent or something. Your mind is going to be like a weapon or something, is what I'm getting for you guys. Your communication is probably going to really improve. And yeah, I feel like you're going to know that you're good at something, and it's really going to help your confidence level, and it might kind of also leak into what it is that you do for work. But yeah, you're definitely on your path. So just stay on your journey, stay on track. Your emotions, your internal state, all of that is always a marker, is always an indication trying to communicate something to you. So don't bypass it as like it not being real or it not mattering, or maybe you're just crazy or whatever. Like if you don't feel good inside, that's a problem. And you want to try to help yourself get to a place where you can feel good and can feel at ease. You're supposed to feel good and peaceful. Spirit is with you. They are guiding you. You will be led. I hope that this message was useful for you. That's all I have for you today, pile number 1, for what messages does the cannabis spirit have for you. I do offer personal readings if you'd like to dive deeper into your specific situation. I would be more than happy to connect with you. You can find my information in the description box, or I will also display it on the video here in case you are watching on the Forbidden Knowledge TV network. I'll put some of my contact info and where you can find me in case you want to stay connected. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye. Hey guys, welcome to your reading if you chose group number 2, or the Lepidolite crystal. These are going to be your messages about what the cannabis spirit would like to say to you. I am actually recording this portion of the reading much later than I recorded the intro and the first reading because I got really busy with personals all of a sudden. So it's been like a good 2 weeks since I started this reading, so I'm so happy to finally be getting back to it. When it comes to this type of stuff, I always just trust in the timing, and it'll be out and ready when it's meant to be. So here we are meant to be doing this reading right now. I've already pre-pulled the cards for you guys. I haven't really taken a look at them, so we are going to be looking at them together. So let's get started right away. So we have really heavy energies here to begin the reading. What I'm seeing is that some of you guys may be feeling kind of stuck in a rut with your daily routine, just dealing with the everyday mundanities of life, of existence, of reality, the not so glamorous things, like keeping up with all of the chores and the laundry and cleaning your house and going to work and taking care of the kids or of your pets, or, being up to date with your appointments and with your obligations, and just feeling like there's so much on your plate, feeling like your head is like in 1,000 places at one time because you just need to keep up with everything. And so it just feels like there's not a lot of room for like fun and, like spontaneity. Like it just feels like it's very repetitive, boring at this point, and very exhausting, like very overwhelming, very busy and heavy. And I think it has to do with the approach that you have. So a lot of us, many of us, most of us, we are very busy people. We have like 1,000 things we have to do. Some of us feel like, oh my gosh, there's not enough time in the day, for everything that I have to get done today. And we can take that kind of like as an indication that maybe we need to dial it back, to kind of lighten the load if we feel it's what's best for us in that moment. So of course, like one of the messages here is to gauge that, to be mindful of that, because a lot of times people aren't, and people will just overwork themselves and be like your own worst enemy and like your worst critic, and we can be so hard on ourselves. So that's the first message, is to kind of like gauge that, really take a look at what it is that you're doing, what is occupying your time, your everyday, and see how you can kind of lighten the load. But I think we can all agree that life is busy, for the majority of us. Life is busy. There's a lot of things that we have to do, that we are committed to, that we have to show up for, to just keep things afloat and keep things moving. And so it's totally possible to navigate what it is that you are doing if you were coming at it from a different perspective or with a different approach, because this looks like you're just putting so much pressure on yourself. It's like you're really hard on yourself, and you probably have high standards for yourself. You want to do things right. You want to make sure everything is in its place, being done correctly, being done, as logically as possible, like where everything makes sense, or like where everything is correct. Like you don't like making mistakes. You want things to be very like right, precise, correct, everything in its place, everything in its order, everything where it needs to be. And so when you have this approach, sometimes like it's kind of like a perfectionist approach. Like when you have that can kind of be detrimental to us sometimes, because it just puts so much pressure on you to like perform and to do well and to make sure there are no mistakes, and like there's no room for mistakes, and God forbid that there was a mistake or there was some kind of like mishap. You'd be your own worst critic, your own worst enemy. You'd get really like on yourself about that. So this is kind of like what the cannabis spirit is trying to point out to you. They want you to be able to like see these qualities within you and identify these things within you, because it's like you're putting this pressure on yourself. Everyone, leads a pretty busy life, and instead of coming at it in a way that's like, I gotta get this done, and I gotta get this done, and oh my gosh, and what time is it, and oh, I'm falling behind, and I have to be here, and I have to be there, and just being so rigid with everything, having that energy and that approach is what's kind of giving your life this flavor, this tone. Remember, you set the tone. So if this is the tone that you're setting for yourself, then this is the energy, this is like the environment, the ambience you're giving to your life. And I just think that your experience could be so much better, and it could just feel more enjoyable, less stressful, less heavy, if you just simply changed your approach. Now, if you guys notice, I didn't mention this card right here, it's not an actual like card, like a traditional tarot card. It's just an extra card that came with the deck. Like you have the option of keeping it in there or taking it out. So it's kind of like a wild card of the deck. So I kept it in there, and I kind of gave it like my own meaning. It's magic. It's divinity. It's like divine intervention. Something that's meant to be, meant to happen. That was like a divine spark that was fated to present itself exactly when and where it did. You got this card right in the middle of your spread. So I think there's like an interruption here, a divine intervention that wants to come through to tell you like that you don't need to have that type of energy. You know, you don't need to have that energy where it's like you're so strict and rigid and like logical, coming strictly from a mental space of making sure everything is in its proper order and perfect and neat and precise. You know, Spirit wants you to understand that creation is chaos. You know, creativity is spontaneous, it's chaotic, it grows freely wherever it wants to grow, in abundance, however it wants to grow, however it wants to come out. And this is what creates the most beautiful things, the most beautiful experiences. It's not something that can be planned. If you go to like a nature preserve, you'll see that there's like an entire ecosystem that has created all on its own naturally. You know, nobody had to come and like properly plant all of like those seeds so that everything can grow exactly where it's at and it can be orderly and perfect. It just happened naturally on its own. The seeds land where they need to land. Things blossom and bloom and grow and flourish. And, you know, the animals come and they find their homes and ways to survive and to keep it all going, to keep it all moving. And all of the pieces to the puzzle always just kind of come together and kind of align spontaneously, you know? And you realize that no matter what, things are always going to like be whatever it's going to be, you know? Like you don't have to be so uptight and so like on top of where everything has to be to the T, you know? If you just relax, you'll see that things will just flow. Things will just align. Things will just be perfectly in their own timing, in their own divine timing. Things will flourish, blossom, grow as it's meant to, as it's needed to, without much interference. And when you do it this way, not only are you then lightening your load and like being able to take a breath and to just relax and to know that you don't have to be fully in control at all times for things to continue to be running, you know, like you feel like, oh, well, if everything is going to go smoothly, like I have to, it's like on me, the pressure is on me. I have to keep the schedules and I have to make sure that everyone is where they need to be. And, you know, this is coming from someone that was very much so in this energy at one point in my life. And it was miserable, you know. I'm a very responsible person and I see that you are too here. And like whenever you have things to do or things pending or whatever, like you're the type of person like you want to be thorough and you want to do everything correctly and you want to do it right. You want to be responsible and reliable. But when you want to have that much control, it's just, you know, it's not a good experience. Like you just start feeling like eventually this starts draining like any fun and any color and any life out of anything when this is the energy and this is the approach that you're taking. You're not allowing, you know, for the universe to step in or, I mean, no matter what, the universe is going to step in. I mean, this is what that card is telling us. The universe is stepping in. They're here. This is what the Cannabis Spirit wants to tell you is like, things are going to happen no matter what. It's like that saying, nature doesn't hurry. Nature takes its time, yet everything is accomplished. I remember during the pandemic, like most people, I wanted to plant a garden. So I went out, I got all of the stuff. I had planted like some green bushes and some flowers in the front, and then I had like a fruit and vegetable one in the back. I had a neighbor that had this gorgeous little garden right in front of their house. And so I wanted to make my corner, you know, of the building pretty. And then one day there was work being done on the roof in the building that I was living in. And the people, you know, I don't know if the garden was like in the way or what, but basically they decided to put like their equipment and their ladder for whatever reason on the garden. And when they were done, the garden was just completely like messed up. It was like disheveled and shapen weird. It was like misshapen. And it had like all of these dents and like it just was really messed up. It looked really messed up. And I remember the neighbor even like offered to help, like to fix it, because he noticed that the garden, had gotten kind of ruined. But it was just something that like we never got around to. Like basically the garden just stayed that way. It just stayed looking all crazy. And what I noticed was that eventually, like when enough time had passed by, and it wasn't even that much time, eventually the garden kind of just went back to normal. Like it went back to looking how it originally looked. Like it just looked like nothing happened. And I remember just feeling kind of like so surprised because I'm over here thinking like, oh my gosh, I have to go and like fix the garden. Like it was something that was in the back of my mind. I just never got around to it. And I remember one day like looking at the garden and realizing that like, oh, I didn't even need to do anything. Like it was just going to fix itself regardless. And that's like part of the message here, is that even if things look disheveled and disordered and out of control and out of place, it's like eventually it's going to align. Eventually everything will be where it needs to be. It'll find its place and it'll grow and it'll flourish how it's meant to. And you just have to trust that that's what's going to happen. And I remember, when that happened to me, like I took it as such a life lesson, because I felt like I could apply that situation to my own life, where I was just like, wow, like I don't really have to be like on top of it like I think I do. If you just kind of give things like a little bit of space, if you just detach and just let things go through its own process, you'll see that everything eventually goes in its place and aligns and flows exactly how it's meant to, naturally on its own, within its own pace. And so it just puts it in perspective that when you are kind of like forcing things to happen and wanting to be perfect and control things, and like you don't need to do that. Like that's not required. At the end of the day, I saw that this energy isn't required for things to happen, for things to get done. You can back off and they'll get done anyway. It'll just happen. This is what they really want to highlight for you, is to just let things be what they're going to be. Let it become what it wants to become. Step away, detach a little bit, and just trust. Trust in the process. There's something here that you're clinging on. You're clinging on to, you're holding on tightly to. You have this really tight grip. It could just be your everyday, your daily routine. It could be something as specific regarding work, regarding a group project, a creative project that you may be working on with other people. It could be regarding the way that you parent, the way that you run their schedules and like the day, and just the way that you lead. It just looks like you're making it like a lot harder on yourself and a lot more like dull and boring than it needs to be. This life is a gift. This life is a blessing. It's beautiful. And when you're not experiencing that, that's a shame, Instead of enjoying this beautiful gift that we're given every single day, we're stressed out about it. It's like we're putting all of this pressure on ourselves and carrying all of this weight and all of this responsibility and thinking that like it's all on us. It's like it's very mental, instead of just letting things be what they are, inviting in more freedom, more space for creativity, for spontaneity, for things to grow and blossom how they want to trust in the universe, to kind of observe like, what is the universe doing? What's the energy? What naturally wants to happen here? And being curious about that and taking a step back and seeing what that manifests as, what that's like when you just allow people to be who they are. When you take that pressure off, then you'll see like what everybody's gifts are. Like, where does everyone naturally thrive, and how can this come together? What wants to happen here? What is spirit doing? Like, really get curious. Like, what brought us together? What does each one of us have to offer? Why did the universe, want us to be together, want us to work together? And if you just allow like everyone's natural abilities to come out, and usually this is going to happen in a space that feels safe, like a space that doesn't feel like it's so bombarded with like rigid rules and punctuality. And I'm not saying that those things are bad, because there's a time and a place for everything. Like those things serve its purpose. But I mean, like when something is just overkill, to the point that it's like debilitating, that it's blocking something, this is where, Spirit wants you to take a look right now, because there is something that Spirit wants you to trust and to let it be what it's meant to be, and to like kind of let go a little. Like you're holding onto it too tight. You're trying to control it too much. And Spirit is saying, no need. No need. I just feel like your approach, like you're coming from this place of where like you don't trust in doing things and like spontaneity, and like it's kind of like you're like, no, that's irresponsible. We need to have a plan. We're not stupid. We're not foolish. We're not naive. We're smart. Smart people have plans and have rules and order and structure, and that's true, but it's like it can't be to either extreme, like balance. It's about balance. And Spirit is telling you like that it's time now to kind of like lower your guard and to be more open to just allowing things to be, and to allowing things to unfold, and to seeing what that turns into, and to getting curious about that, getting curious about, I wonder if I just step back, what's going to happen? What's going to just naturally be? What's going to manifest? What's going to come from that? From me just detaching a bit and allowing more fluidity and spontaneity and creativity to flourish and to bloom the way that it wants to, so badly wants to. And I feel like something beautiful is going to come out. Like that's the most amazing part about this whole thing, is that something absolutely abundant and fertile and rich and beautiful, nourishing, is going to come out of this. Like Spirit wants you to trust, because Spirit is like, if only you just let us do our thing, like nature is like, let me do my thing. Like you are not giving me a lot of credit here, if you just let me do my thing, I can show you what I've got. But there's just like such a huge fear about things destroying, like things just falling apart, things crumbling. Like there's like this huge fear about like, oh, but like if I don't have like this tight grip on my reality, on my life, like everything is just going to crumble, everything is just going to fall. And Spirit wants you to know that no, even if that was the case, like even so, like even if things were to fall apart, it'd be because that's what's for the best. You know what I mean? It'd be because it's time for something new, because it's time for something that is more aligned, that works better. Because yes, you do feel like you have some kind of control here, but it's coming with a cost. This control that maybe, you're contriving, that you're making happen to like make you feel safe in some kind of a way, it's coming with a cost. It's not coming with peace. And if it's not coming with peace, then, what are you really doing? It's just something to really reflect on. Ask yourself, like, why do I have to be in control like this? Have such a strong like grip and grasp on what I have to do, on my responsibilities and the way things need to be, And then you'll probably realize that it's like some kind of like fear or something that gets triggered if you're not in control, of things falling apart, of things crumbling, of things breaking down, of things no longer being in some kind of like a predictable order. But if you're suffering in this pre-existing way of doing things, in this system that you have already established, if you are feeling heavy and bored and like life is lackluster and missing, it's like you're living in black and white and like it's dreary and drabby like every day, and you have nothing to look forward to, you just become like this bitter, miserable person, then what are you really upholding? Is it worth it? Is it worth it to you? Is this false sense of security worth it? If you're miserable, maybe this does have to crumble. What if this does have to crumble? And I just want you to know that I am not saying that this necessarily, that you have to go through some big, hard, tough time where things are going to crumble. I see that you have a fear of that. But the point I'm trying to make is that even if things were to go south, like in the worst way possible, and crumble, and your fear was to come alive, what are you upholding? Reflect on what it is that you're upholding, and would it be a good thing for things to kind of break down, from how they are right now. Because how they are right now, is it working? Are you happy? Is there peace or not? Because I'm not seeing that there is a lot of that. I'm seeing that you're very oppressed and burdened and busy to even like enjoy the beauties of life. Not that the beauties of life are not there and ever present, because they always are. The magic of life is always there, but it's up to you to give it that magic. It's up to the way that you're perceiving things and the way you're approaching your life. And I just feel like the lens you're looking through is not really a lens that is aligned or supportive of being able to experience the magic and the beauty and the joys of life. Because the truth is that if everything was to crumble, it's a knowing that life has a way of enduring chaos, a way of adapting, and a way of being able to build itself back up again. It's like Elizabeth Gilbert says in Eat, Pray, Love, ruin is a gift. Ruin is the road to transformation. And it's having that understanding and that recognition that the world is chaotic. It's a chaotic place. And the real trap is getting attached to any of it. So that's the message that the cannabis spirit wants to tell you, is basically to detach a little bit, practice non-attachment, let go of your need to control things because you think that things will crumble, things will fall apart. Know that even if things were to crumble, if things were to fall apart, if the worst thing in your mind was to come true, that life has a way of building itself back up again. Things will align. Everything will get done exactly as it needs to. You don't need to put all of this pressure on yourself. It is unnecessary, and it's only causing you trouble, and like it's not favorable or like agreeable to the way that anyone would want to live, if you really think about it. No one wants to feel burdened and stressed and overwhelmed all of the time, and like their life is boring and it sucks and there's nothing fun about it and life is just miserable. Like, what a waste, when life is full of abundance and miracles and joy and love and magic. If you just let it be that. You have to let it be that. Let it be what it wants to be. Let it be what it is. Just let it be. No doing. You don't have to do. Just let it be. You don't have to try to make sense out of everything. Everything doesn't always have to fit and make sense. You want to like have a definition for everything. Sometimes you don't know things. You're not going to have the explanations and the reasonings of why and how. And that's not really what matters. That's not truly what matters. For example, there's people out there that exist that probably have never read one book about enlightenment or any of it, but put them out into like the mountains. Just, living in the mountains is enough for them to understand life and to be completely enlightened. And it's not something that can be explained. But it's like we don't need to know everything with our logical mind and be able to make sense out of everything intellectually for things to click and for things to make sense and for things to just work. And it's being able to trust that there is this feminine energy in our universe that is very present and is at play. And you have to let her work, like give her space to do her thing so that you can see true miracles and true magic, true abundance and growth, and see how everything just settles into its place and just has a way of working itself out. And just trust that everything is going to be what it is, like when the seed finds its own little place in the dirt and the ground and it's nourished by everything it needs to sprout. Like it's just a natural process from there, as long as it has the sunlight and the water and the good environment. It's going to naturally grow and bloom and blossom into whatever it's meant to be, into whatever it's meant to become. It's like the seed holds that potential of fulfilling its highest outcome, and it just naturally happens on its own. You just have to let it. You just have to let it go through its process and let it go, through its cycle. And it's basically just being able to have that trust in life that everything is going to end up exactly how it needs to end up. And you don't have to try to run away from change or run away from the unknown because it's so scary, because you can't control it. Just relax, take a deep breath, trust, and enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Get curious. Stay present, you know? You have to build that muscle, build that inner strength. You have a very strong, like, mental muscle. Like, you're very, smart, sharp. You can calculate things. You are very strong in that way. It's time now, the cannabis spirit is telling you that it's time now to strengthen that muscle of patience, that muscle of inner strength, of self-control, of confidence, of personal power, presence, that's a big one. You are a strong person. It's like, know that about yourself. Know that you are a very capable, strong person that can handle anything that comes your way, and having that self-assuredness and that confidence in knowing, like, you know what, I don't need to have such a strong grip on life because I don't need to have this control. I know that whatever comes my way, I'm gonna know what to do. I'm capable. I am so smart, and I am so courageous. No matter what happens, I know that I can overcome. So yes, you're definitely being asked to take stock of how you deal with life and how you internalize the results, and noticing that they don't all serve you well, and this leads to a lot of insecurities and a lot of anxiety. So you are being asked, to really dig deep and to face your fears, face what's holding you back. This need to control, this need to have like this strong grip and grasp, this is a defense mechanism. You're trying to keep yourself safe. You're trying to protect yourself. Your ego is trying to do that, but at what cost? Know that you are completely capable of overcoming this. Release your fears. Really look into, what your triggers are. Where is this coming from? Where is this stemming from? Do what you have to do to dismantle it, because it isn't serving you. And the way that you invite this in is just simply by trusting, letting go of the reins a little bit, and giving space for the divine to come in and work her magic, because boy, does she want to. She has something for you. She has something up her sleeve for you, something beautiful. It could be like having to do with partnerships, or just something that is going to be very abundant, that's going to flourish, maybe put you in a better position that's more like, that's higher, that's like a place where you can exercise like all of your capabilities, instead of feeling like you're only in charge of like making the decisions and making sure everything runs smoothly. It's like now you're going to be put into a position where you can integrate all sides of yourself, where like you have to be emotional and you have to use your brain. You have to be stable and solid, but also fiery and passionate and exciting and spontaneous. So it's like being in a position where you can be like your full, whole self and express like all of these different aspects of yourself. Spirit wants to level you up. They want to give you like gifts of Venus, so this is like love, relationships, beauty, food, luxuries, abundance, This is what wants to come in for you, but it's like you have to loosen the grip, so Spirit can kind of align everything and do what it has to do and put everything in its place with divine timing and divine purpose. Let the magic happen. Let the magic take up space. And be open to like receive, to be curious, like, what wants to happen? If I just let go right now, what does Spirit have in store for me? What would Spirit do for me? What would Spirit put into my path, into place for me? How would it align everything exactly where it needs to be? What would happen? And be curious and open to what that is. And this is how you invite magic. Life isn't like this dead thing that you have to schedule out, It's like, it's alive, It wants to interact with you. Life is an interactive experience. So it's like, let her shine, let her come through, let her talk to you, let her guide, and interact with her, have a relationship with her, communicate, commune with it, with this divine feminine energy that wants to pierce your life and bless you. So definitely you're being like called to see something, to wake up and to see something for what it is, and to leave it behind, to let it collapse And when I say collapse, I don't mean that that has to be like super dramatic. It's just something else wants to get built up, and like it can't under these certain circumstances, under these conditions. So it's like knowing that you can leave, that you don't have to be this way, approach life this way, and do it like this anymore. That there could be another way, a more enjoyable way. Like there's a very lucky energy that surrounds you, and let that be born, like let that play out. Something having to do with music could be really important here as well. I feel like you naturally have like this aura, or like this, I don't know, like you're good in the spotlight, or you're really good at performing, at getting attention, holding attention, whether it has to do with like the intelligence that you hold, with the knowledge that you possess, or whether it has to do with your beauty, with your skill, or just like your personality, who you are. There's something that is really lucky about you. Very sexy, very magnetic. So I feel like this just naturally wants to like align itself. This wants to fully express itself. So just, if you just loosen the grips, you'll allow this energy to come in and to be what it wants to be, to allow it to fulfill itself. This is what it wants to be. And there could definitely be something to do with love here as well, with like having some kind of like a past life soulmate or something. Someone that you reincarnate with repeatedly throughout your lives, and like you guys find each other, you guys find a way to be together. Your souls are like BFFs, and they're always trying to find each other. So maybe this also is trying to come, like trying to align into your life as like this divine sacred partnership that you have with like a soul that you've incarnated with for several lives. This soulmate type of bond that wants to come in for you, but it's like the circumstances aren't right, and so everything is trying to align to make the circumstances right. And sometimes that means that other things have to crumble and have to come apart for like what's meant for you to align itself. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of like success energy here, but be careful too, because this energy that I'm seeing here, it can also be like exploited, because it can be like a very magnetic, attractive like energy, and people can use this like for their own hidden motives and agendas. So just be careful with that. Be very discerning, which I see that you already are, but Spirit just doesn't want you to only operate and focus from that like very ultra discerning, logical place where everything needs to make perfect sense, and where everything needs to be just right and perfect and super like measured and calculated. Spirit wants you to make room for chaos, for disorder, for destruction, because there's beauty in that. And if you give things enough time, you'll see that there's a reason for everything. And Spirit just wants you to trust in it. Nature wants you to trust in it, that it has a consciousness and it knows what it's doing. And this chaos is what's birthing like this new creation. It's coming from this destruction, from this chaos, comes this perfection, this alignment, this harmonious reality that comes from all of that, disorder and from the unknown. Okay, you guys, that was your message. I truly hope that you got something out of this. This is what the Cannabis Spirit wanted to point out to you, wanted to tell you, wants you to reflect on. Please keep in mind that I also do personal readings. I will leave my information in the description box below if you're interested. I would be more than happy to connect with you. And if you are watching this on the Forbidden Knowledge TV platform, I will put up my information right now here on the screen. Just a few places where you can locate me, contact me if you'd like to stay connected. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, bye. Hey guys, welcome to your reading. If you chose group number 3 or the Fluorite, this is your reading all about what does the Cannabis Spirit have to say to you. So I'm super excited to get into this one because this is the one that I picked too. So let's see, what does the Cannabis Spirit have to say to us? What messages would the Cannabis Spirit like to convey to us today? One card already fell. It's on the floor. I have to pick it up, but it is the Queen of Swords. I can see it from here. And I know that we had the Queen of Swords in reading number 2. So there might be a connection to reading number 2, just because that Queen of Swords was pulling a lot of weight in that reading. So thought I should mention it. Okay, group number 3. So what does the cannabis spirit have to say to you? This looks like a message of empowerment. The cannabis spirit wants you to be solid and grounded and centered as it pertains to feeling empowered and knowing that you are capable and exuding that, feeling confident and feeling comfortable in your skin, not being afraid to be yourself, to speak your truth, to connect with others. For some of you, this has to do with something that you do. So you can perform, maybe you're a dancer or you do some kind of performance. You could even just, it doesn't have to be anything like artsy. If it's not dancing, singing, music, or acting, it could be just something that you're in the spotlight, like a leadership role where maybe you have to make presentations at work or you have to coordinate things. And so you're like in the spotlight a lot of the time, where you may have to speak, like amongst a crowd or a group of people, where it's kind of like all eyes on you. Spirit wants you to feel confident and solid in this position, knowing that this is really where you belong. Because I'm hearing that maybe some of you may struggle with imposter syndrome sometimes, thinking like, who the hell am I? And I don't have anything important to say, or I don't have anything important to offer, or can I handle this? Is my energy big enough? Is my energy strong enough? Am I smart enough? All of those feelings of self-doubt and feeling like you don't deserve to be in a certain position. Spirit wants you to be able to like cleanse yourself of that, to rid yourself of those things, because they are seeing someone here. The cannabis spirit is acknowledging that you are someone that is so capable, that has already accomplished great things, and that is already received by, I was going to say the masses, but that sounds a little bit exaggerating. But the Wheel of Fortune is here, and that's Jupiter, so that is kind of like expansive. So yeah, maybe the masses, I don't know, like I'm seeing like an audience or like a group or something like that, like the people around you, your community. I feel like you are already regarded as being very elevated in people's eyes, in people's perspectives. Because I am seeing someone here that has a spotlight, or that is being noticed or is being seen as accomplishing things, as having some kind of success, being seen as, oh, I just found my little lizard. I have a little lizard that has been living in my plant, and I just found it. Oh my God, I'm like inclined to show you, but I don't want to mess up the camera. But oh my gosh, I was wondering where she went, because she had been living in my plant for like a couple of days, and then I saw her kind of like venturing outside of the plant, and that was the last time I saw her, and I'm like, where did she go? And I just found her. She's right there on the windowsill. If you guys know like what lizards want, what do I give her? I don't know how to offer her hospitality. Like, what does she need? How do I make her feel at home? She's like my little pet right now. But if she wants to go outside, if that's what's best for her, like I will 100% do that. I just want her to know that she is welcome and she can live in that plant if she wants to. Hi, Lizzie. Oh, she's going back to her plant. She's going back home. Oh, so cute. Okay, sorry, got distracted. My bad. Okay, so yes, back to the reading. So yeah, I'm seeing that someone is already kind of regarded as like being elevated or as being in some kind of a spotlight and having success, like people like what you're doing, even if they're not like showing it to you, because I feel like maybe you feel like you're questioning things because maybe you don't get that outside validation like a lot, or maybe you feel like you're overlooked, or you feel like people don't really see you or care. So if you're feeling those things, just know that people are seeing you and people do care. And it could just be that they're not like readily like expressing that or making it clear or making it very obvious, but like maybe behind the scenes you are influencing people more than you know, or, you know, like people are acknowledging you and seeing your power and seeing whatever it is that you do and regarding it in high esteem, like maybe to themselves, you know, like behind the scenes. So spirit just wants you to kind of like be confident and to like have this knowingness, you know, like this knowingness that you deserve to be in the position that you're in, that you deserve to be in the spotlight in some way, that you belong there, you know, like this is part of your path, it's part of your purpose. Like if this is where you're finding yourself in your journey, it's because it's meant to be. You belong there. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I don't belong here. That's imposter syndrome. And a lot of people can struggle with that, of thinking like that they're not good enough. Spirit wants you to own it. The cannabis spirit is seeing like that you're great. They're seeing this big power behind you, and they want you to own it, and they want you to know it too. Like have this knowingness, have this discernment to be able to acknowledge it for yourself and to really truly see yourself for what you truly are. I feel like you're going to be coming into some kind of an abundance here. Like you're building something really stable, really solid. But I think like it is taking time for everything to kind of align, for everything to come in its place. But the cannabis spirit wants you to know that whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that you're building up, they're saying it's coming together. But you do have to be patient, because I do see that it's coming together and something really solid and stable is like building up, but it's taking its time. You know, it's like everything in due time, you know, no rush. Everything is just as it needs to be. But they want me to point out that whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that you're building, like this foundation, it's like you're building a foundation right now. And I feel like it is coming together, but it is coming together slowly, you know, like in its own timing. So they are saying like to be patient, and that the way that it's manifesting is exactly the way it should be manifesting. Like everything is right on time. Like everything is going according to plan. You don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, am I behind? Am I not seeing results? You know, whatever it is that you're doing fine. You're doing great. Stay on course, stay on track. You just need to have a little bit more patience. But it seems to be something very abundant and stable and secure, you know? I definitely see like you're building some kind of security here. And I think this means like internal security, like feeling secure within yourself, but also, you know, I think it's reflecting externally too. So I think like simultaneously, like as you develop your internal security with self, like that self-trust, that solid, you know, center, it manifests in the material world because it's correlated like directly with your self-esteem and like with you believing in yourself and believing that you belong here and believing that you deserve these things and that this is your position to fill, you know? So the more you like step into that, I feel like it's definitely going to be reflecting outwardly too, because then like the more comfortable you are at being in the spotlight and doing your role and doing what you're meant to do. I feel like you're also someone that has a lot of knowledge, like you have a lot to share. I feel like maybe like ideas, when it comes to like ideas and thoughts and things to think about, to dissect, like I want to say mental chewing gum. Like maybe you give people a lot to think about, or you say really insightful things, or you have like a really clear way of analyzing things and making sense of things and explaining things. I feel like you're so smart, you have a really sharp mind, and you have a lot to talk about. So for sure, I'm seeing like communication and using your brain and thoughts and ideas. And I feel like all of these things are important here for you. And it's what's going to elevate you. These things are going to expand you in some way. But I feel like what can hold you back and what can keep you small is like that imposter syndrome, or is that feeling like you feel small, or like I mentioned, you might feel like you don't know enough or you're not good enough. Like it's like the idea that you have of yourself. But I do see that you are stepping more into like this feeling of confidence, you know, feeling confident, but that it's kind of like you haven't fully taken it on yet. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of teeter-tottering back and forth between like, I believe in myself, I know that this is what's meant for me, I know that I'm in the right place. Or, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Does anyone even care what I have to say? Who the hell am I to say anything? Why would anyone care what I think? So again, like the more that you can step into this, like fully step into this role, know that you are more than enough, that you are so worthy, and that this position is made for you. It is yours and you are meant to have it. And the more you can fully be confident with that, I feel like it's going to reflect externally. So it's like the more self-esteem and confidence you can build inside, the more success you're going to cultivate externally. But it needs to happen on the inside first, because it's then going to reflect in your work and how you show up and in taking space and not being afraid to be in the spotlight and knowing that you're magnetic and knowing that you're interesting and knowing that you have something that's worthwhile to share. I'm hearing Unstoppable. It's a Sia song, I think. I'm unstoppable. I'm invincible. I'm unstoppable today. I'm incredible. I don't know if those are the lyrics or not, but I think that's like the rhythm. So I don't know, maybe you want to listen to that song, but I am seeing like the cannabis spirit wanting you to be very, to create that strong foundation when it comes to self-love and self-esteem and believing in yourself and being courageous and getting out there and taking up space and doing what you do unapologetically and boldly and loudly, fully accepting who you are, fully accepting yourself and everything about you. I'm seeing really long, dark hair, so long, dark hair could be a thing. And yeah, I'm seeing that this is yours, whatever it is that's cultivating here, whatever momentum you've created, I feel like it's meant to be, it's divine. This was meant to come together. It was meant to happen this way. So trust in it, believe in it, be patient and allow things to continue unfolding. And all you need to focus on is on continuing to be brave and have courage and to believe in yourself, to really believe in yourself. Because it doesn't matter how many people believe in you and hype you up and, say all of these nice things about you. If you don't see it, if you take a look in the mirror and you don't see those qualities within yourself and you're not feeling it, you'll never step into it fully. It needs to come from you. You need to know it. You need to feel it. You need to believe in yourself. You need to know that you're the only one that can do it for you. It needs to come from within. And so I definitely feel that this is like a muscle here that you're developing. And it's all part of the process. It's exactly what you're meant to go through, what you're, the journey you're meant to travel to fully fulfill your purpose and be what you're meant to be and be seen for what you are, be acknowledged for exactly what you truly are, which I want to say is a boss. There's a lot of feminine energy here, but it's very boss B, I'm hearing bad bitch on the bar. That's from that song Alien Superstar from Beyonce. So yeah, I feel like these songs that are coming through are like about confidence. So I feel like you guys need like a confidence booster. The cannabis spirit is so cute. The cannabis spirit wants to hype you up. They want to give you like a confidence booster. They're telling you everyone else sees you for what you are except for you. When are you going to get on board? I feel like if you see this in yourself and you stand in your power, everyone wins. This is an expansive energy. It's like you need to be in this role, in this position, because you being in this role, in this position means everyone wins. There's like a sense of that. So maybe that'll help you, fully step into this even more, is knowing that like you being in this position is going to benefit others as well. I feel like you're going to have a really good eye, really good discernment for who should be like elevated, who should be seen and acknowledged. I just think that you're going to be able to notice other people's successes and good deeds and wins, and you're going to have a good eye for elevating the right people. This is amazing energy. I don't know, I'm getting like an energy of like you're building something, like it could even be like you're starting a business, or you're like finding a team, you're creating a team, and you only choose like the best of the best. Like you can tell, you have really good discernment, and you can tell where people are and like where they would thrive. You know, like you're going to know how to place people, because I feel like you're really going to take the time to get to know people and to really like know what they're about. So you know where to put them. Like you know how to create like a really good system or something that works really nicely, and like everyone is exactly where they need to be, because you know where everyone would thrive. Or like you give opportunities to the right people that deserve it. So I'm just seeing like something being built up, something being created, that is being created and built up really well. You're setting something up for success here. And it's because like you have an eye for it. I don't know. It's like you're going to be able to piece something together. Like you're going to have this like elevated perspective, like this behind the scenes insight or intuition. And you're going to find a more effective way of doing something. It's like something is running however it's running, and you're going to find like a more effective way, a way that is going to work better or something. Like you know how to fix things, not fix things, but improve things. I feel like you're going to know how to improve things. Like you're going to know like if something is off, you know, like who to put where, like with what task, or like what to put where. It's like the way that you're building something, creating something, like piecing something together is very, very successful, because you have like this bigger picture vision. You're like a visionary, I feel. Like it's like technical too. Like I feel like it's something that's technically going to be just more improved and better, and you're going to create something that it's like, oh my gosh, like this is so smart. We needed this. We needed this improvement, this upgrade. It's like you're updating something and giving it like a refresh that's much needed, that's going to make sense. It's going to like make everyone's life easier. Like things are just going to flow better. But again, I feel like this is over time. Like this, it is saying that it's going to take time for it to be like at its fullest potential. But it's like if you're like at the beginning stages of creating something, of building something up, and the structure that you come up with, it's going to be something very creative. It's like offering new concepts in terms of technicality and innovation for a system that needs something new. So I feel like you're going to bring something new, something that's going to offer like more deeper, meaningful experiences, and something that's going to be very creative as well. You're going to be so unique. And I feel like, you know, you're going to be like a trendsetter, like, or a pioneer of something. Like you're going to be pioneering like this new way, you know? Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here for sure. And I feel like this is what you're meant to do. And like, this is why you're in this leadership position. If you're finding yourself in some kind of a leadership role, it's for this reason. Like you have an eye for something. You have a gift for something, like to put something together more effectively, more creatively. That's amazing. I'm like, what is it, Spirit? I'm nosy. What is it? Give us some more insight. Because I'm seeing like it could be with the Seven of Cups, I'm seeing like it could be a lot of different things here. Obviously, it's going to be different things for everyone watching, but the Seven of Cups talks about like being able to dream something up. You're going to have like a spark of inspiration that's going to just come up from your own creativity, that feels like it's going to come out of nowhere, you know? And I feel like you might be able to apply it to a lot of different things, or you can take this in a lot of different directions. I'm seeing options here. Let's see if Spirit would want to give us a little more insight, just a little more insight. I don't think I pulled any extra cards for the other groups, but this is sounding so good. I'm just so curious as to what is it, you know, like what is it pertaining, what is it regarding? Yeah, Spirit is just saying that that you're just gonna know things. You have a good eye. You can spot, you know, things that aren't going to work, things that are not the real deal. You can spot it, and you know like when to detach from something, or when something isn't working, or when you need to let go of something. Because I really do think that you are after like the all. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you want to help on a grand scale, you know, especially with this Wheel of Fortune here, with this Jupiter card. This is talking about like grand scale, not just like your own people, your own community, your own group of friends, your own circle. Like, you want to help all. You are thinking of everyone. And so I feel like you're not the type of person that if something makes sense for you or for your people or the higher ups, like something like that, you know, you're not down with that because you care. You know what I mean? I feel like you genuinely care about everyone. You want it to affect everyone in a good way. You want everyone to win. You want to share the success. That's exactly it. I feel like that's what I meant like earlier when I said like you elevate people. Like, because you know where people would thrive or something like this. So it's like you want to help everyone. And I feel like that's your ultimate happiness. And I feel like that's your purpose to do that as well, is like to see these things, to see people's potential and to see people's soul, like see them on a soul level, and to be able to kind of perceive or like have intuitive hits about people's purpose and where they would thrive, where they would shine, where they would be happy. And you kind of guide them to it or elevate them to that or give them the position. So, wow, that's beautiful. So, of course, apply that to however it fits in your situation, because for everyone's situation, it's obviously going to be different. I just feel like you're going to thrive working in, like, with groups, working creatively, because again, like, you just have an eye for where to put things, for things to run as smooth as possible, for things to be as successful as possible. It's like you see the full potential before anyone else can. And so then you empower it. Because you see the full potential of something, you then empower it. You help it reach that full potential. You help it get there. You help it grow, expand. Very expansive pile. Like, everything is like, wow. Like, you're just here to multiply. Like, you're here to grow. It's like the golden touch, the Midas touch. Like, everything you touch turns to gold. Something like that. Because you have an eye, you have intuition. You can see something before anyone else can. So you create the environment, like you support that growth that you see. And you know that it's nothing overnight. Like, it's nothing that's overnight. It's like a slow cultivation, a slow transformation, a slow alchemical change, like a slow process. And you know how to see it through. You have like this really strong foundation of knowing how to see something through and how to really grow something to its fullest potential. And I feel like this gift, you're going to be able to apply it to many different areas, to many different people. Like, I see multiple things here. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. What an amazing reading for what the Cannabis Spirit has to say to you. You seem like someone who's so powerful, so smart, so intelligent. You are going to crack the code to something, and you are going to help many. And that's amazing in your own way, like in your own way, in whatever way that manifests for you. But this is your purpose. This is your own seed of potential if you decide to fully step in. And when you decide to fully step in, and I mentioned that, right? I said, like, it's like if you win, everyone wins. It's like if you decide to step in, then it's like you share that wealth, you share that knowledge. You're not gatekeeping anything. Like, you genuinely want to give people the information. I think once you can overcome, you know, like the passive nature, the unassertive nature, or if you struggle to initiate or to engage because like you're very soft and sweet, you know, forgiving, this can be your downfall. So it's kind of like learning to be those things, you know, have these amazing qualities, but to also be able to like stand up for yourself and defend yourself and believe in yourself. There's this energy of teaching and guiding people from a very pure place, you know, not because you want any control. And that's what gives you that capability to elevate others and to happily do it, you know? Like, you're not trying to control anything or like leave out key information or not, you know, share what you know. You want to see people elevated and strong and in their power, which is what good teachers are. You know, good teachers, they teach and they lead with the goal of like, eventually I don't have to teach you and lead you anymore. Eventually you're not going to need me. Eventually you can fly out of the nest. And that's what they want. They're not trying to like give you just enough but keep you dependent or keep you down in some way because they want the control, because they want the power. And we see that a lot. So I feel like this leadership or this energy here is high vibrational in that sense of like, I want to see you thrive and fly all by yourself. I'll hold your hands and I'll be your guiding light until you can do it alone. And when you can do it alone, I'm celebrating right next to you. I'm happy for you. And when I see you thriving, that's like, I'm thriving, you know, like I'm so happy. That's like the ultimate happiness I can have, is seeing you become free, you know? This is just amazing energy. Thank you guys so much for existing, for being real, for being pure, for being the angels, you know, the earth angels that were put here to really exude this energy, because we really need it. We need more. We need as much of you as we can get. Okay, so step in there, step in your power. If you win, so many win too, right along with you. That's beautiful. You have the ability to expand people, to elevate people, the right people. Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I just noticed we also have the Temperance card, which I didn't just notice it, but I just noticed that both of them are, you know, the Wheel of Fortune and the Temperance card, they're both connected to Jupiter, because the Temperance card is Sagittarius and that's Jupiter. So this is very like, you're a teacher, a guide, a leader, a visionary. You're here to expand something, to highlight like a new, more effective method and effective way of doing something. You have the spark, like you have that spark of insight, that information, that knowledge. You have this energy, you have this impetus, like this force inside of you to start something new, something that's very blessed. And this is just who you are. Like it is just who you naturally are. It's what your soul exudes. So once you can really step into this and just let yourself be what you already are, you will feel like this vital life force energy, and you will get all of these spiritual insights, all of this illumination, and serve as an inspiration. This has like big spiritual leader vibes, you know? And if not, it's definitely like entrepreneurship, being a creator, inventing something, pioneering something, definitely. So act on your ideas, guys. Don't hesitate. You are so worthy. You are so freaking powerful. Like, I wish you could see what I see, because you are so, so powerful. Yes, like this is amazing, amazing. And I feel like if you feel a little bit confused, because for some of you guys, I am sensing like that you're confused, you know, about like this idea, this vision, this new way that you're like gonna be ushering in. Like you're like, huh? I don't know what that is. It's gonna come. Just be patient. Because right now I am seeing that for some of you, that can be a little hazy, still a little confusing, like you still don't know. You still don't have it. Maybe you still don't have that creative spark. Not that you don't have it, you always have it. I mean like that you haven't become aware of it, you know? You're not conscious of what it is yet. It's not clear yet. So that's why doing this work is gonna make it clear. It's gonna bring it all together beautifully and divinely, because this is the way it's meant to be. So that was your message, group number 3. That was absolutely beautiful. Just a quick reminder that I also do personal readings. All of my information will be in the description box below. But if you are watching this on the Forbidden Knowledge TV platform, I will put my information up here on the screen. Just a couple places where you can find me if you would like to stay connected. I would love that. I would love to hear from you guys. I truly hope these messages have served you today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.